Please report.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this Eureka City Council meeting, Tuesday, April 15th. Sorry for the late start. We had a long closed session this evening. We're grateful you're all here, and we are going to start this meeting with the land acknowledgement. The land that Eureka rests on is known in the Wiyot language as Jirojiji. Past actions by local, state, and federal governments remove the Wiyot and other indigenous peoples from the land and threaten to destroy their cultural practices. The City of Eureka acknowledged the Wiyot community, their elders both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement demonstrates the city's commitment to dismantle ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. Could we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Castellano?
Here.
Councilmember Moulton?
Here.
Councilmember Bauer?
Here.
Councilmember Contreras-Deloche?
Here.
Mayor Burgell?
Here.
And Councilmember Fernandez is absent.
And would all who care to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And is there a report out of closed session, Madam City Attorney?
Good evening, Mayor. Yes, there is a report out of closed session. Councilmember Fernandez requested that he be allowed to teleconference into the meeting due to a qualifying circumstance. And on a motion from Councilmember Moulton and seconded by Councilmember Contreras, Council allowed Councilmember Fernandez to participate remotely. Unanimous yes vote, motion carried. And I want to thank the city clerk for typing this out for me. That made it so much easier.
Thank you. Okay, we will begin with the mayor's announcements. We have a proclamation for the National Safety Telecommunications Week, April 14th to 26th, with Communications Supervisor Wilson. Would you like to come forward with your team? And who did I give that to? And Councilmember Castellano will be reading that.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is the City of Eureka proclamation in recognition of National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, April 14th to April 20th, 2025. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Eureka Public Safety Communications Center. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety dispatchers of the Eureka Public Safety Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of this job in this past year. Now, therefore, I, Leslie Castellano, on behalf of Mayor Kim Burgell and the Eureka City Council, declare April 14th to April 20th to be National Telecommunications Week in Eureka, in honor of the dispatchers whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe.
I'll give one of these.
Thank you. Hi,
It is with immense gratitude and a deep sense of responsibility that we stand before you today accepting this recognition. First and foremost, we want to express our appreciation to City Council, City of Eureka, Eureka Police Department, and Humboldt Bay Fire Department for recognition. This proclamation is not only an acknowledgement of the hard work and dedication of the Eureka Police and Humboldt Bay Fire Communications Center, but also a testament to the commitment to excellence and service that defines our center. In past years, in accepting this recognition, we have spoken to the number of police, fire, and medical calls that our center has processed over the year, the critical incidents that we have handled, and the day-in, day-out demands of our profession. However, this does not do justice to what our communication center represents and the dispatcher's collective determination to ensure that our community receives prompt, reliable, and efficient support during times of need. Whether it's an emergency, a routine request, or a critical incident, the center serves as the first line of help for our community and provides coordinated actions that help save lives, protect property, and maintains the safety and well-being of all those who rely on our services. Numbers do not speak to the compassion and the dedication that each of these dispatchers have for this profession, nor does it account for the sacrifices made by the dispatchers that serve our community. The missed holidays, family gatherings, dinners, school events, and numerous other life events are all sacrifices that each and every one of them willingly make to be part in protecting our community, citizens, and first responders. I could not be prouder of the dedication of all of the dispatchers and the support they have for each other and the center as a whole, and the way each and every one of them rise to any challenge. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge the families, friends, and supporters who stand behind our dedicated team. Your encouragement and belief in us provide the strength and motivation that we need to succeed. In closing, we are all incredibly honored to accept this proclamation on behalf of the entire team. Thank you all for your trust, your support, and your continued dedication to us. Here's to the future, where our communication center will continue to serve as a pillar of excellence and a model for other communities to follow. Thank you.
Thank you for being here and all you do. Okay, and our second proclamation is for Volunteer Appreciation Month. And Chief Stevens, are you going to come on up? Welcome. And that will be with Councilmember Moulton. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. City of Eureka Proclamation in recognition of Volunteer Appreciation Month, April 2025. Whereas volunteering of one's time and resources has traditionally been and continues to be an elemental part of the essence and tradition of our country and is essential to its spirit and vitality. And whereas we are a community of people who thrive on helping each other towards the shared goal of a better life and future for all, and whereas volunteerism is increasingly recognized as an important partner in government and industry in doing the work of the nation, and whereas volunteerism is a vital, fulfilling, and enriching to the participants as well as to the recipients of the service and should be encouraged for the benefits to all and the community at large. And whereas the City Council recognizes the value of Eureka's volunteers, a dedicated group of individuals who are vital to the present and future of our community. Now, therefore, I, Katie Moulton, on behalf of Mayor Kim Burgell and the Eureka City Council, do hereby declare the month of April 2025 to be Volunteer Appreciation Month in Eureka, in honor of the volunteers' hard work and selfless dedication to the city of Eureka, making it a better place to live and work.
On behalf of the grateful men and women of the Eureka Volunteer Patrol and our volunteers all together, I thank you for the proclamation tonight, recognizing them for their sacrifices they make on behalf of the city, on behalf of the Eureka Police Department, to further better our city as a whole. We have volunteers that work from volunteer patrol, that actually go out and patrol, help out with different things in the community, respond to emergencies and assist us, to walking patrols that walk our neighborhoods, our downtown areas, just to be points of contact and a visible presence and eyes on the street, to all of them getting together when we have special events such as parades and other events that our community requires that additional little bit of safety, and they step forward and they take some of those traffic control positions to make sure we have the roadie parade, walk around on Friday night market, make sure there's some points of contact when we have cruise ships come in and people are in Old Town. So I really appreciate all the work they do, all the volunteering they do. We will celebrate them next week. We'll recognize one of them as our Volunteer of the Year, which is still a surprise. We're going to keep it that way. And but we appreciate all they do, and they're a great asset to this department in this city. And thank you for the recognition.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to presentations. We will be talking about the new Eureka Poet Laureate announcement with Sarah West. Welcome.
Good evening, Council. City Manager Slattery updated you on this program in January of this year. And before we get to the announcement, I wanted to quickly recap for those of you who are not familiar. The Poet Laureate program started in 2019. We've had some wonderful poets, including David Holper and Will Gibson, contribute as Eureka's poet. This program has been dormant for a bit, but it's back. The City of Eureka's Poet Laureate program brings new people and perspectives into visibility and generates powerful language for expressing the experience of being here. The purpose of the Poet Laureate program is to serve as a creative ambassador for Eureka, celebrate the literary arts in Eureka and beyond, be a creative voice for the Eureka Cultural Arts District and the surrounding area, collaborate with the broader arts community, and provide mentorship to youth literary artists. Kicked off earlier this year and led by the Ink People, the selection process convened a panel of local community members, including representatives from Eureka's Art and Culture Commission and 2 previous Poet Laureates. To be eligible, poets must live or have a writing studio within the city limits of Eureka, California, or within 1 mile, or must be meaningfully connected to Eureka. Once selected, the poets will serve as poetry ambassadors to the city of Eureka for a 2-year period, and we have selected both an adult poet laureate and a youth poet laureate. So without further ado, I want to announce both laureates, and I will tell you a little bit about each, and then if it's okay with you, invite them up here to speak for themselves. So our adult poet laureate is Sarai Bordeaux. Sarai Bordeaux is an educator and poet from across California. They have been a part of many communities in Humboldt County, starting in 2005 when they attended Humboldt State University. There with the Black Student Union, Sarai helped put on Poetry is Not a Luxury, a space created for poets of color named for the work of Audre Lorde. Since finishing with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minors in philosophy and Spanish, Sarai received her master's degree in education with emphasis on equity and social justice from San Francisco State and has worked throughout many areas in education with the goal of empowering students toward agency in their learning and self-determination in our communities. All of her work in education has been fortified by a deep love for poems and the practice of creating poetry. At the start of the global pandemic, while living in Jackson, Mississippi, Sarai was invited into a writing group honoring Patrice Lumumba, and it was there that she accepted herself fully as a poet and writer. With the new understanding, Sarai re-immersed herself, educating, organizing arts and healing efforts in Oakland, the San Joaquin Valley, Los Angeles, and Joshua Tree. But home in Humboldt, Eureka specifically, is where she's getting to combine the many facets of her experience to help create space for herself and others in the community to live fulfilled lives. As the Eureka's Poet Laureate, Sarai's goal is to learn more and more about Eureka, its many communities, and herself through the lens of poetry, to connect with her youth counterpart and support their ideas and the ideas of other youth, and to be the light that shines onto what it means in all aspects to live here. Sarai is so excited about the opportunity and hopes there has been something beautiful about your day. And our youth poet laureate is Olivia Jacqueline Gibson. Olivia is an 18-year-old musician, drag queen, and poet. She was born and raised in Humboldt County and has spent her youth going to punk shows, writing poetry books such as What Did You Expect, and pushing the letter in the local school system to better the lives of fellow members of the queer community. She is a proud Two-Spirit member of the Tolowa tribe, and her work largely relates to her experiences as a queer, Native member of the counterculture movement who continually finds herself under fire from all angles. So with that, I believe they're both here, and we can invite them up to share a little bit about themselves.
Please do. Come on up. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Say your name. My name is Sarai Bordeaux. Hi, friends. Okay, I've been here at City Hall in quite a few capacities, and I'm super, super, super excited to be here as the poet laureate. I wrote a poem, so I'm gonna share it. Usually I have something to pour libation. I'm just gonna. For Sylvia Winter, for Audre Lorde, for Big Mom and other difficult women in my family line, for Charmaine, who is celebrating the life of her son, David Josiah Lawson, who was murdered on today in 2017. I'm leaving after this to go to his memorial. For a healed family line, for Alicia Henry and Maya Angelou, for Breonna Taylor and Nia Wilson and Sandra Bland. Over here, it's land back instead of land acknowledgements. It's free Sudan, it's free Palestine, it's hands off Congo, it's hands off Africa in general, it's hands off Black folks in general, it's stop cop cities, it's forget a flock camera, it's protect immigrants and other backbones in this country. It's protect workers and free our prisoners, one behind bars and woven into complexes we are now surprised by. It's all access to the houseless, all resources and all space. It's give kids the mile because the inch is what got us here. It's I've also been wrong. It's people I love wrapped up in systems I'm fighting against. It's me contributing sometimes to system I'm fighting against. It's being willing to fall short. It's complexity and constellation. It's the web, the dance. It's owning my position and defending it with integrity. It's drawing multiple lines and sitting uncomfortably at their intersections. It's coming off fences I've built myself. It's compassion over self-righteousness. It's pulling the threads and getting stuck at knotty conundrum and unraveling my very self to find my core, my unending worth. It's dissonance and acting anyway. It's being seen being wrong and learning from it out loud. It's making the mission statement true. It's living values. It's self-portrait as poem and poem as reflection. It's defensive when attacked and fragile like a lioness whose cubs have not eaten. Like folks who have not eaten. Right now, I'm casting a spell, performing my own manifestation, a prophecy. We have left nothing to lose but our chains. Some keys are to locks we put ourselves in and to those we say we love. This work is art. This art is what Eureka wants to be, what it needs to see. Y'all did absolutely the right thing choosing me. Choosing us. I did absolutely the right thing choosing me, choosing us. At some points you might not like the poet, but you can't deny the power of the poem.
Thank you, Sarai. Thank you. Powerful. Powerful. Hi, welcome.
Hello, my name is Olivia Jacqueline Gibson. I am the freshly chosen Eureka Youth Poet Laureate. I would like to start by thanking some people who are very important to me. My mother and my grandmother, who are both here, as well as my father, former Poet Laureate Will Gibson. I would like to thank my brother, who could not attend, who is the former Youth Poet Laureate Harvey Mitchell. I'd like to thank my publisher, Swimming with Elephants, and I would like to thank you for choosing me. The title of this poem is Res. For your consideration, this poem has been translated from its original Yurok. All words that have been altered can be read or will be read by myself. I don't know the old word for reservation, or if there is one. I don't know if the scars that run like rivulets across my back slide into a history I will forget tomorrow. I do not know my name. Even now, I speak a language that is not my own, a dialect of an approximation, stepping further down a staircase to decolonize my tongue, to free my mouth, to open my eyes and wake up, Chelel. I don't know when I began holding tradition of trading abalone shells to a white devil, of forgetting how to jump dance, of giving up. I listen to 400 round pebbles skipping across the river. There was a gunfire to it that I cannot tell you more about. I watch the falling rain. I think of my brother. I remember my uncle. I remember the dead, gone, and still living like a weaving basket, metaphor for home, metaphor for health, metaphor for holding softly. I sing. Niet nes ku pergish, niet nes pergish moch, mechones oroi, down at Grandmother Rock. Niet nes ku pergish, niet nes pergish moch, niet nes oroi, cholau ku chaas hak. To my ancestors, I don't know if they hear me or if it changes their minds. I sing louder. I sing 4 seasons and 16 years like a growing tumor. Remember tumors. Remember the only time my father saw Wapekmumwau was when a baseball-sized tumor started right back. I remember that Creator looks like a tumor, so much bigger when it looks back at you. Ho, ahi, ho. I ask, what do you want from me? What is this game we play? Why must we gamble on houses and white money? Why was I born where you died, grandfather? Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? I'm going to now recite the same poem in Yurok.
Thank you.
My pronunciation breaks down when I'm nervous. Ne kasulemek ku ne saagech wetwin kor mech reservation, or if there is one. Ne kasulemek macha ko pa'a ku ra'ap nach ha'apau wet roy. Hikach nawech siya wapu kunala ne ki ha'apech kuk owok. Ne kasulemek now. Kem achka ne kich tween pek ku tween kuk ku kich mas na na. Ku hexa ar chegekwa. Ne kich kekwelek chapanek chalokwa ku slukwa. Hasel tak ne pich. U kwesoyek leluth. Ha hun kuk nelin isi hwelek chelel. Ne kasulenek macha honeb hopek nokwa. Kich migach your mech ku munchach umaa. Mech kich haapek ku wanek wilaga. Mech kich naschinepek. Ne kich tpa royak ha wechi tono pekko. Lolek hi kach ku roy. There is a gunfire to it that I cannot tell you more about. Kich ni nawak kuten, net perwork nele, net perwork nechimas owak, net perwork kukesamoy chapanek asi sa'a, nach kuchalag, no lochek mecholech, no lochek mechhewech, no lochek mechhopau. Rodawak. Ni nes kupergish, ni nes pergish moch, mehones sorrowy, down at Grandmother Rock. Ni nes kupergish, ni nes pergish moch, ni nes sorrowy, Chola kuchas hak. Ha net you all walk. Ne kasulamek mochache goroyam. Ma macha wati ki chin ki kol. Ne rorowak esi plursuk. Ne rorowak cha na awech esi koschu esi wechlau lok. Nach kukich heno herker. Chapurwork herker. Chapurwork ku chapira. Nip sechwal creator. How much au ku herker naach ku chwes we menomnem. Chapurwork ku wapek wamau kala ku herker. Chapiwi pelin macha ku neat nem well menomnem nikel. Ho ahi. Ho ahi. It's bekar. Ku sur kes wewam mochi neki. Kus kich wati kot kitir. Kus anem mech sur neka hakwa nelal. Esi waoge wachik. Kus saan mech na ak machak mawiaskem. Pichu was. Kus tu kel kwam thenem neki. Kus tu kel kwachlenem neki. Kus tu kel kwam thenem neki.
I think you broke the mayor.
Thank you both. Powerful, powerful. I'm really grateful that you are going to be our new 2-year poet laureates. Amazing. Does anybody else have any comments they'd like to share? Okay. Councilmember Castellano?
Sure. Thank you both. Thank you both for being here and sharing your poetry and just appreciating your voices in the city of Eureka. And, I think I was thinking about the Poet Laureate program and about how, we're a city where different people have different voices and different positions and power in different spaces, and how, I think it's really critical that we have the voice of poets as part of who we are as a city, and that we, I appreciate that, both of you have questions and have critiques about what it means to be a city. And I think that that's an important part of our discourse and what we wrestle with, for sure in different language, in different ways sometimes. And so, I appreciate you bringing the voice of poetry to those questions and to those critiques. And thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you. And we will move on to, I can't see, our Humboldt Economic Survey with Development Manager Asbury. And before you begin, I just want to say one thing. I hope that you poets come back and share more with us. Maybe quarterly. That would be great. Just saying. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight with Nancy Olson, CEO of the Greater Eureka Chamber of Commerce, and Amanda Kruschke, Economic Development Coordinator for the City of Eureka and Executive Director of Eureka Main Street. We're here to provide an update on the Humboldt Economic Survey. As you know, many of our local businesses are facing serious challenges right now. Some are on the verge of closing, and many are feeling uncertain about the future. That's why it's more important than ever that our support is both timely and informed by their actual needs. To that end, the Chamber, Eureka Main Street, and the city have partnered to create a business survey. It's designed to give us a better understanding of what our local businesses are experiencing and what resources or changes could make a meaningful difference. Although this effort started with our 3 organizations, we quickly recognized that these challenges are shared across our region. So we've expanded the reach of the survey countywide and are coordinating with neighboring jurisdictions and chambers to both collect data from across the county, as well as share what we learn. We're asking businesses, nonprofits, and government entities to complete the survey online. It's available on all of our websites and has been widely promoted through social media. The survey will remain open through April 23rd, and to encourage participation, we're offering gift basket giveaways as a thank you for taking part. And so I'm going to turn it over to Nancy. She's going to share a little bit about the responses we've received so far.
Thanks, Swan. And I want to recognize the poets who just shared. I know one of them, it looks like she's left, but thank you. I'm there with you, Mayor. Very powerful. So how to follow that with economic data. Really, it's a privilege to be part of the Economic Vitality Committee as part of Main Street and to partner with Swan and others at the city. We count our partnership and with all of you very important at our chamber, and I feel like it's productive and hopefully helpful, and we don't always see it eye to eye, but there's goodwill, I think, on all fronts, so we appreciate that. We are in the midst of getting the data. I pulled some quick data, some interim, so please don't hold these as final data, but thought it would be enlightening for you to hear what we've got so far. We are hopeful to have the full report by the time you have your visioning retreat, so hopefully it'll help inform your work there. And so far we've had 157 responses from across the county. The vast majority are from Eureka and Main Street area. Over 100 of those are from our area. The survey, I need to say, the survey is available both in English and in Spanish, thanks to the translation efforts of a member of our advisory board for the Cámara de Comercio Humboldt, the Latino Chamber of Commerce that's being born as we speak. The types of businesses are varied. Most of them are brick and mortar, about 70%. Nearly 50% have been open for 16 or more years. 10% of those responding have been open for less than a year. So we'll be looking for correlating data between the age of the business and some of the other data that we will have, such as how they're feeling about things and what they're experiencing right now. 90% of the businesses have 20 or fewer employees. So this is, we all know the backbone of our economy is our small businesses, and that's really reflected in this survey. 60% have an annual income of less than $500,000. So again, smaller businesses. This, I think Amanda will like. She likes this statistic because I told her already. 32 of our respondents have said that they're active in Eureka Main Street. So that's, good work, Amanda. She's doing, and the team are doing some really good work there. 52% said that they are members of the Chamber of Commerce, and about another 10% said that they're not, but they want to become members of Chambers of Commerce. So we're collecting names and such of those businesses so we can get them involved. 79%, not surprisingly, say that their primary customers are local residents. There are some efforts being made to expand the Shop Local campaigns with Humboldt Made and some other folks. And one of the things that we are hoping for is that there will be a Shop Local on a budget campaign, because shopping local often implies economic privilege, and it can be really expensive to shop local, especially in our community, the rural, remote, high-cost kind of area. So how can we shop local on a budget is going to be something that I'm going to really push for. We asked folks how they're doing in general. 11% said that they're thriving. 46% that said that they are stable. 36% said that they are struggling but managing. And 7% of our businesses said that they are at risk of closing. 39% expect to grow in the next year, 33% remain the same, and 26% expect a decline in the coming year. Some of their top challenges right now are cost of goods and services, decreased sale, high rent, operational costs, attracting and retaining staff, seasonal fluctuation of customers. So those are some of the top concerns that they've cited so far. We did, in light of the significant changes at the federal level, we'll say with our best diplomacy, the expected impacts of federal changes on our local businesses and nonprofits who are included. 59% that said that they expect an increase in the cost of doing business as a result of these changes. 43% said that they expect fewer customers. 28% said that they expect a loss of income, and 23% said that they are expecting difficulty in getting products. There were other impacts as well, but those are the highest ones. So pretty stark as we're looking at the impact of our local businesses. Tourism, of course, is a concern right now, and whether we'll see the same numbers of tourists. 32% of our businesses have said in the past that tourism has had a positive impact, and expect tourism will continue to have a positive impact on them. Many are looking for marketing support and training. That's something that's coming through SBDC and some others. So there's very much a collaborative effort to meet our business needs. Some of the top infrastructure concerns, and this is some of where the city comes in. Security, especially as related to the houseless population. Beautification of their local areas. Parking, yes, parking came up often, and roads. And then last, in terms of one of their biggest concerns that we asked specifically, 53% cited safety concerns such as vandalism, theft, and loitering as directly impacting their ability to operate successfully. So we hope that these statistics, and there's more to the survey, I just pulled these really quickly, kind of the high line data that we have so far. Again, this is early data, expected to shift and change. I don't know that the trends will change so much, but hopefully you found this helpful. And again, thank you for the opportunity to work with your colleagues. They are the best of the bunch. So yeah, anyway, that's it. I don't know if you have any questions or if you're allowed.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Contreras-Deloche?
Sorry, you probably already mentioned this, and I haven't checked my email today. Do we have access to that, all of us? No, we don't. Are we going to be able to have some kind of access to those numbers? Swan's nodding. Okay.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, this is all early data, so we're not sharing the early data except for to you all at Swan's request. But we will have full reports about 2 weeks after the survey closes, so hopefully in time for your visioning retreat.
Thank you. That's what I was.
So, and we will be sharing this data far and wide, so it'll be available. We'll also report it to state and national electeds and such, as well as other business communities and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well, I look forward to hearing more about kind of thoughts and plans around how to address some of the issues. So thank you so much.
Okay, anything further? Thank you so much for being here. Okay. At this time, this is our public comment period. At this time, for members of the public who wish to be heard on matters that do not appear on the agenda, City Council policy is to limit each speaker to 3 minutes. Such time allotment or portion thereof shall not be transferred to other speakers. The public will be allowed to speak concurrently with the calling of an agenda item following the staff presentation of that item. Pursuant to the Brown Act, as the City Council may not take action on an item that does not appear on the agenda. And I just want to remind folks that we do not have a back and forth during this time. If you have questions, we would love to answer them with you. So please give us a call or send us an email. Reach out to us. Time allotment for public comment on non-agenda items is a maximum of 30 minutes. Shall be allotted to receiving public comments at the initial public comment period. If necessary, an additional period shall be allotted to public comments after city manager reports, but only if the first 30 minutes of public comment period was not sufficient to allow all those who wish to speak to do so. So, Mr. Parr, looks like you're on your feet.
I'm going to kind of continue on There to discuss, regarding native languages. I'm here once again to talk about the Yas Park, formerly known as 2030 Park. The park that you guys got the money for in 2019 promised that it would start in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Finally started in 2024. We were promised a completed park by November of last year, and then you said February, and here we are, mid-April, and I look out my kitchen window, and I see a pile of dirt that is months and months away from completion. 20 years ago, I was a foreman on a hospital expansion project that involved building a 2-story building to hospital standards that had an elevator and a hyperbaric oxygen chamber and all kinds of high-tech hospital stuff in it. The cost of that project was around $6 million. I understand that inflation is a reality, but I cannot imagine if we could build that building 20 years ago for $6 million, why can't you provide us with a couple of slides and some swings and some bleachers for $6.4 million? Where's our money? Where's our park? The scuttlebutt on the ground is that the money has been spent on consulting and engineering, which you guys are wont to do to a great excess. How much consulting and engineering does it need to build a park, to put in a couple swings and slides and some bleachers? How much can you possibly grift away in that endeavor? Where is our money? Where is our park? I mean, you guys spent 20 minutes a couple months ago singing the praises of the man that's below this guy, responsible for that, and making it sound like he was some kind of a genius, and he's the one that's basically behind this fiasco. What the hell is going on? $6.4 million to put in a couple of slides, a couple of swings, some monkey bars, and some bleachers, and I'm looking out my porch 5 years later, out my kitchen window 5 years later, and I'm seeing a pile of dirt that's months away from completion. You got a big old fancy steel egret out there, but where's our park? Where's our money? Come on, you guys can do better.
Come on up. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Willow Sveen, and I'm an occupational therapist at Providence St. Joseph Hospital. I'm on the bargaining committee for the National Union of Healthcare Workers, or NUHW. For 10 years, I worked at the acute rehab unit at General Hospital. There I worked with patients recovering from a variety of conditions, including hip fractures, strokes, motor vehicle accidents, open heart surgery, and debility following prolonged hospital stays. My role was to teach patients how to regain independence with basic self-care tasks, and this was an incredible job, seeing people recover their lives. For about 5 years, we were told that a new rehab facility at Redwood Memorial Hospital was just around the corner. Tragically, this was not to be, as Providence closed the current rehab facility and stopped construction on the new facility in Fortuna. Now patients are forced to either go to a rehab unit at a local SNF or to travel to an ARU out of the area. I bring this up as an example of how Providence is closing down services here in Humboldt County. We have seen the closure of outpatient lab services, the Redwood Memorial Birthing Center, and a reduction in access to open heart surgery. These cuts are devastating for employees, patients, and our entire community. One wonders if any part of the hospital is secure from future cuts. We in NUHW are asking this council to join with us to ask Providence to support employees and the community by reinvesting in Humboldt County. We want Providence to stop service cuts, to prioritize supporting and retaining their employees, and to give us a contract that protects care and caregivers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eureka Goldsmith, Doctor of Physical Therapy. I'm a member of the National Union of Healthcare Workers and the newly formed Professional Bargaining Unit at St. Joseph Hospital. I'm part of the Coordinating Bargaining Committee representing several thousand tech and professionals currently negotiating contracts with Providence in Northern California. I'm appearing before the Eureka City Council today to seek support from the City Council for our efforts at NUHW to secure a fair contract that protects local jobs and maintains vital healthcare services for our community. I like Eureka. I come here almost every day to work, shop, and play. When I started at St. Joe's 5 years ago, at the beginning of COVID, we were healthcare heroes at Providence. Back then, St. Joseph had the inpatient rehab facility and was building a new one in Fortuna at Redwood Memorial. We had the OB unit down at Redwood. Labs were run in-house. We had a cardiac surgeon that could perform life-saving operations here in Eureka. Things have changed a lot. All of these critical services are gone, and now our community suffers. While the former CEO of Providence, Rod Hochman, made $14.8 million in 2023. That's almost exactly the amount it would have taken to finish the rehab unit down in acute rehab in Fortuna. So, that's a great example of how Providence is failing to invest in our community. NUHW has sat at the bargaining committee for almost a year, only for Providence to offer us wage increases that don't keep up with inflation. Providence is failing to invest in this community, in its hospital, or in its healthcare providers. The effects are real. The closure of the ARU. We have longer patient stays. Without a local facility, patients wait longer to get placed. We have readmissions because patients leave the hospital, they're not ready to go home, and they get sick or injured and end up back in the hospital. We have poor outcomes because patients are willing to accept a lower level of service in order to stay closer to home. Our patients, our community, they're not getting what they deserve. So, a couple of days ago, I received my 5-year service pin from Providence by FedEx. And that's exactly what we're getting from Providence. It's kind of symbolic of the empty gestures and lip service this community is getting from our most important healthcare provider. Providence can do better, and Eureka deserves better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Welcome.
My name's Jennifer Masana Eaton. I'm a registered dietitian at Providence St. Joe's in Eureka. And I'm here also to represent NUHW and the members of. I've been working at Providence St. Joe's for 10 years this August. I actually moved to Humboldt from North Carolina in 2000 to attend HSU. Loved the area, decided to stay. I worked many, many jobs around the county with a liberal arts degree before I decided to go back to school, left the area for a little while and came back to start my career here because I love the area so much. I met my husband here and we run Stars Hamburgers in Arcata. So I'm also a local business owner. I love my job, my coworkers, and my patients. My work is challenging and rewarding. I can't imagine doing anything else. I was lucky to work at rehab. As you've been hearing, it was such a fantastic facility during my 10 years at St. Joe's. As dietitians, we cover pretty much all the units in the hospital. Rehab was one of my favorite. Really got to see such improvement and such turnaround and such love of the facility and how much people appreciated the care that they got there. The benefits that rehab brought to this community were immeasurable. And it's just unthinkable that it's no longer here. Since ARU's forced closure, I have watched more and more of my patients being readmitted from Granada, the step-down unit that Providence attempted to place as a replacement for a top-rated acute rehab facility. This is just a step-down unit. that is with one of our skilled nursing facilities that unfortunately are not rated great in this area. With multiple readmits, my patients' conditions continued to worsen. Patients who were not malnourished when they were admitted became malnourished after several readmissions and not doing well at the facility in this area, or being shipped out of the area and come back because they couldn't see their families while they were down there. Most of our patients can't afford to go out of the area, or their loved ones can't afford to visit them out of the area. And it makes it a very tough decision for them to get that care that they need. It's a large burden on the people of our community. I am speaking here today because we are fighting to save services in this community. Providence is cutting the few local services we have. Cuts not only take away medical care from our community, but jobs and resources. Providence is profiting off of these closures and not giving back to the community, although they are a not-for-profit hospital, which made $118 million last year.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome.
Hello, Mayor and Council members. Thank you for being here, and thank you to our community members that have been here and our community members that are here online or watching the stream. My name is Whitney Roon, and I am a social worker, and I work at Providence alongside my colleagues here. I've been a social worker for over 10 years in different capacities through different parts of rural California. I earned my master's degree in rural and indigenous social work from HSU, now Cal Poly Humboldt, and I moved here specifically to give back to the community that gave me so much in my educational community. I've been a social worker at Providence St. Joe's for just over 7 months, and I'm the most senior member of my department in my role. I'm one of 2 social workers that is in charge of providing for the most unmet needs and most vulnerable people in our community. And these aren't people who are just here in Eureka or Arcata or McKinleyville. These are people that get life-flighted here from Weaverville, or sent here from Crescent City, or from down in southern Humboldt. Those of us that choose to live and work here know how important it is that villages help support each other. Rural communities have a strength that is so important, and that's something that a lot of people loved so much about St. Joe's before Providence became a part of this system. What I see from my patients and community members at our hospital is people who are more sick, who are more vulnerable and more in need, and who are more unheard than they might have ever been in this community in a long time. One of my colleagues have mentioned about people getting readmitted. We mean those are people that were sent home and came back within 30 days, often more sick, more at risk, and needing more intensive surgeries and procedures than they could possibly afford or be available to have. When we have a system like Providence that doesn't invest in adequate caregiving, does not invest in its staff, in the team, the village that is needed for its community, we have people that are more and more at risk. People who are more likely to die at our hospital, people who are more likely to be alone, away from the people they love and who care for them, and caregivers that are more inclined and sometimes forced to leave due to their own concerns about patient safety or workplace safety. I'm going to please ask you to consider that if our union, the National Union of Healthcare Workers represented at Providence St. Joe's here in Eureka, has any community action or community letters, to please add your support. I hope that any of you that need care at our hospital receive excellent care. That's all that we all try to give. Everyone from the people that keep our hospital clean, to the people that bring you your food, to our providers and our therapists, and to me. And I also hope that you can use your voice and your power to advocate for the care that you deserve, that we all deserve, and what our community deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up. Welcome.
My name is Noah Zimmerman, Noah Johannem Zimmerman. I live at 12357 7th Street, Apartment C, and I don't need the government to tell me what time it is because I got my own watch. I'm here to issue a warning to you about fascism, which is in this city right now. For a long time, I've lived in 2 different worlds. I see the light side and the dark side equally well. I wear a black hat because it looks so good on me, but in my professional life, I wear a white hat always And I think this is a message especially for you, Councilmember Renee Contreras-Deloche, that there's vandalism, there's broken glass, there's violence, there's threats in your district. And this is also a warning for you, Mayor. This is a warning that this is here. I was standing out in front of the American flag and the Californian flag, holding up a sign saying that the Proud Boys are here. This is a fascist street gang. This is brown shirts. Doge is the SS. I'm a student of history. This is extremely important. I went out there with no mask and my address printed on the back of the box because I got some headers for my truck shipped in them. Anybody who wanted to know who I was or where I lived could ask for themselves and see it with their own eyes. And I've seen things with my own eyes. I wonder if you're hiding behind sunglasses, looking away. Ultimately, all of you behind that bench are temporary. That's democracy. You come and go. My message is actually for the administrators, the people who actually make democracy work right here, and all of the people behind me. I've got a copy of the U.S. Constitution here. This is my shield. I bought this at a bookstore in Old Town, along with a copy of Hoyle for gambling. It's all legal, though. I'm going to be studying this document intensely, and you will all be hearing from me again very soon. Warning. And finally, j'accuse.
Is there anyone in the audience that would care to share in public comment on non-agenda items? Come on up. Welcome.
So I'm here tonight to ask each one of you, and actually all of us, to send a letter to CalPERS to demand that they divest from genocide. I understand that CalPERS is used to provide financial security for state and local employees, and I admire all companies that are created to take care of others, especially our most vulnerable communities, which oftentimes are our elders. I also feel that we have to look at these institutions with a critical lens and hold them accountable for their actions. We have to ask if the companies that we are using to set up protections for us in our most vulnerable state are actively supporting genocide and forcing our fellow humans into the most horrific and vulnerable state ever known in the history of humanity. If we are using CalPERS for our retirement planning, then the answer is yes. Yes. CalPERS is actively supporting the murder of 30 children a day. CalPERS is participating in the destruction of Palestinian homes with cat tractors, those tractors that also dig mass graves where Palestinians are blindfolded, bound, shot in the head. Boys, men, hospital patients, paramedics, all assassinated by Israeli terrorists. CalPERS is using the money we are saving for our retirement to support weapons manufacturing companies who are making the most advanced killing machines and testing them out on Palestinians, ensuring they don't ever get to live to an age where they would have the opportunity to retire. Right now, our Palestinian friends and families don't even have the opportunity to sleep because of the bombs constantly dropped all around them. Imagine that, the money California public employees scrimping and saving so hard to get to ensure they have the retirement they have always dreamed of, being used to actively terrorize and destroy every single hope and dream our Palestinian community has ever had. Every single one. This is hypocrisy, It's the same hypocrisy I see when we claim we are committed to dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism, but fail to call out or divest from companies that are actively creating and continuing settler colonialism. Israel is a settler colonial project, the Zionist dream to displace the Arab population that has been the majority for over 1,000 years and replace them with a majority Jewish population, control them. The land is the definition of settler colonialism. How can we say we are undoing the harm caused when we are actively complicit in the irreparable harm caused to the citizens of Palestine? We have to actively dismantle settler colonialism
Thanks
now.
for being here. Okay. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. First, I just want to say you guys did it really fantastic. Whoever was on the board or the group that chose Sarai to be the poet laureate, you couldn't have made a better choice. And my hope for all of you and for the city of Eureka is that you heed her and her incredible wealth of wisdom and her vision, not just her criticism, but this is a person who's out in the community building the world that she wants to see. And we could all be doing a lot more of that. So I hope that you take her words and really take them to heart. The second thing I want to ask is also that you please contact CalPERS and request a divestment, demand divestment from the terrorist state of Israel. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of waking up and seeing burned journalists, videos of bodies blowing up into the sky, drones, screaming children running separated from their parents, testimonies from doctors, surgeons, explaining the multiple sniper wounds to the brains of toddlers. I'm so tired of this. And I can't imagine that any of you would truly, if you were witnessing truly what's happening, where our money is going and what our money is funding, that you would want to support that. I just don't believe it. I want to believe better of you. And I want to invite you. No Other Land is the film that won the 2025 Oscars for Best Documentary. This is a film about the displacement of Palestinians in the West Bank. The first two film screenings that Shine a Light on Palestine brought to the minor have sold out. But there is another upcoming screening in May on the 21st. It will sell out. Please come, witness. We've been here for a year and a half begging for change, begging for something. We have mothers and fathers in our DMs on social media begging us to do something. Witness, at least bear witness to where what our money, your investments, what you're profiting off of. I want you to see what it looks like when an entire people have their home stolen from them. It's awful. Please contact CalPERS.
Thank you. Well, hello again.
My name is Sarai Bordeaux. I'm the poet laureate of Eureka. Before I wrote anyway, I'm just going to read the second half of what I had started before. I knew there was a reason for me to stop midway. And getting to hear community members speak to what's important to them, that's the learning I needed. And to Gigi, I really do have vision. I really do love it here. I really do care. So I'm just going to read the second half of this. I spoke to a haunting in a meeting before. Spooky with our ancestors' wildest dreams and nightmare too. They're hungry for what has been promised. It's humbling. They're tired of all the avoiding and the apologizing. They know it's messy. They are ready for reclamation. They are difficult and combative. This haunting is aware that harm does not exist in a vacuum, nor restitution in a silo. This haunting is aware of work that needs to be done and is calling on those brave enough to do it. Brave enough for hard conversations and following through with action. It's being okay with folks being mad at the lack of perfection. It's open conflict towards clarity and changed behavior. We're answering this call because we really do like it here, because this place has saved me more than once, because I'd like to stay. It's because being saved is not enough, though, anymore. Potential is not enough, though, anymore. Progressive is not enough anymore. We are not grant fodder. We are not statistics and presentations. We are more than decorum and tact. We have kept ourselves safe in spite of. This city learns when we listen. When we ask this haunting what layers we are not seeing. From there, it is possible to move. And with movement, it's possible to change. What needs different course will stand out. And when we see what's needed, it's possible for us to all stand up for something called life. This haunting can bring us back to life if we let it. Eureka could thrive if we could just get it together. Thank you.
Thanks again, and congratulations again. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in public comment? Okay, seeing no one, it looks like we have one on Zoom. Ellen?
Hi, City Council, and congratulations to our poet laureates. So yeah, 3 weeks ago we launched a campaign to urge government employees invested in CalPERS for their retirement to demand that CalPERS divest from genocide. You all should have received an email explaining the urgent need for this divestment, as well as the actual email to send to CalPERS and the email address. So all you have to do is copy, paste, hit send. As you should now understand, CalPERS is invested in companies that are providing weapons and heavy equipment to the genocidal apartheid state of Israel, making Eureka invested in this as well, and we do not want this. And I know that you, City Council, care about this because on June 4th of last year, you passed a resolution calling for a mutual ceasefire in Gaza, which was achieved this winter, but Israel has since broken and abandoned. In that resolution, you advocate for, quote, peace and diplomatic solutions and, quote, mutual respect for international law. Divestment is a critical component of these elements of the city's resolution and is, in fact, the law of the land. In July 2024, the International Court of Justice found Israel guilty of apartheid against Palestinians and that its military occupation and annexation of Palestinian territory is illegal. This means that all states, local governments, corporations, and institutions must immediately end all forms of complicity with Israel's illegal military, settlement, and apartheid activities. I would like an assurance from each of you that you have sent your divestment letter to CalPERS. As I said, all you have to do is copy, paste, and hit send. We wrote the letter for you. And I want to invite any state or local employees that are listening and let you know that you can do this as well. Follow @DivestHumboldt on Instagram for more updates on this campaign and for links to the letters and to other information. This is urgent. I had something written last time but got cut off. So I'm going to share with you the example that I chose of one of the most recent atrocities. There's so many to choose from. I settled on what was being called the Medic Massacre, which Israel committed about 3 weeks ago. In this massacre, 15 paramedics and rescue workers were executed by Israeli forces and buried in a mass grave in southern Gaza. These medical and rescue personnel had been responding to an earlier attack on their colleagues when Israel targeted a clearly marked ambulance attempting to reach injured civilians. This part of Gaza has been under relentless Israeli assault, with residents reporting mass executions in which young men were rounded up and shot dead into ditches. The medics and rescue workers were finally found 8 days after being executed with their hands bound and gunshot wounds to the head and chest. This is just
Thank
the
you,
latest.
Ellen. Your 3 minutes are up. I appreciate you being here. Looks like we have one more. Amy?
Hi, yes, thank you.
Welcome.
I came to speak on something else, but I just want to start by adding my support to the concern about CalPERS that Humboldt for Palestine has brought in. And I also just want to thank the council for providing this space for citizens to state their platforms and the things that they care about. You know, it's like hard to feel that our voice is heard at this time. And so giving a space for these concerns that really goes a long way. The thing I came to speak about was that yesterday, the Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Coalition had a foster youth museum that was graciously hosted at the Schluter Gallery. And I was just so amazed and impressed by our youth in this community using their voice, creating really beautiful pieces of art. And I didn't see as many folks in the community as I think these youth deserved. And so just giving a shout out to maybe follow HC Tacey or DHHS on public media and really keeping your ear out for these youth. They have a lot to say and their voice is really important. So congrats to them. It was an amazing exhibit. And again, support for Humboldt for Palestine. And yeah, please send those letters. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, seeing no one else for public comment, we will move to the consent calendar. All matters listed under this category are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. Pursuant to City Council Resolution 2011-22, if a member of the public would like an item on the consent calendar pulled and discussed separately, the request shall be made to a council member prior to the meeting. Unless a specific request is made by a council member, the consent calendar will not be read. There will be no separate discussion of these items. And I have heard from no one. So if we could get a motion to accept the consent calendar? Councilmember Bauer?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion is second. Any comments? No. Please vote.
Four yes votes. Councilmember Fernandez absent. Motion carries.
And that will move us to legislative action correspondence. Is there any? Councilmember Bauer?
Yeah, I was recently brought to my attention that, excuse me, AB 770, recently, I think it's gone through at least one committee. It is, it's about advertising displays. And one of the things that it mentions, it would prohibit limitations on the customary maintenance of a lawfully erected advertising display within the state by any government entity without payment or compensation. So you have an ordinance about billboards, limits our ability to regulate billboards, from my read of it at least. So kind of thinking it's not a great idea. And I'd like to probably oppose, write a letter of opposition.
Okay. Do we have any questions from Councilmember Katie or Moulton?
I'm also Katie. Is this time sensitive, or it sounds like maybe it might be worth us looking into it?
Yeah, I think last I heard it was moving pretty quickly, and I'm trying to see here. I thought it was moving to appropriations, which is meaning it's got a good chance of moving through. So it's definitely something I'm going to bring up, or I just brought up today with the League of California Cities to see what their position is. But I think we've been pretty adamant in our community about regulating billboards, and seems like it's trying to limit our ability to regulate what's within our city limits. So we could certainly wait a couple of weeks, but I just wanted to bring it out there and for everybody to think about.
I only asked because it sounded like maybe you weren't super clear on it, but if that is in fact what it's about, I trust your judgment on that. I'd be in favor of that.
Okay. Councilmember Castellano?
Sorry, I just have my hand on my cheek, but I think, I mean, we're basically saying if we want this to come back on the calendar for next time, and I definitely, then I can have time to fully read the bill and things. So.
Okay, so we've got thumbs up for the May 6th meeting. Yes. Thank you. That takes us to ordinance and resolutions. We will be talking with our Homeless Services Outreach Report, Special Projects Manager Davis. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I said report. Oh, I did. Reports and action items. I apologize. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Welcome.
So tonight I will be providing, I guess, a brief overview of some of the services that we've been providing, resources that are available, and I guess an update on our communication and outreach efforts. So I believe each one of you should have a copy of our newest brochure or marketing material for the programs and services that are currently being offered and provided by the CAPE and the Uplift programs. So we are, definitely taking a bigger, stronger approach on the marketing aspect of what we're doing and letting folks know that we're out in the community and what we're doing in the community. In addition to these brochures, which will be soon available at all of our several city facilities, we're going to be tabling at more events, and we're working with our City of Eureka's communication division to be more active in social media and getting the words out about our programs, just not marketing our programs for potential participants, but also informing community members of what we're doing. In addition to that, we are working with the communications division to start a Talk Eureka page on the city's website. So currently on the city's website, there is a link to our Uplift Eureka webpage, or you can go directly to uplifteureka.com, and it has a pretty detailed a breakdown of all our different programs and services. And there's also the CAPE website that kind of shows some of our previous and current youth programs. So I created a brief presentation just to kind of share kind of what we're doing, and part of our outreach is providing council with more periodic updates on what we're doing, in addition to providing these presentations for other community organizations. And so I guess the first thing I'd like to mention is the Uplift Eureka Community Resource Center has extended hours. We're now open from 10 to 4, located at 1111 E Street. And there's just a brief kind of breakdown of some of the services that are offered. Really, they could do a whole presentation just on this resource center and what we're able to do over there. We finally have a place for that we can host events, we can host meetings, and we have a place that is open to the public to come and utilize services and resources. We have a conference room that anyone is welcome to come and utilize. We have community organizations that can sign up and use this space to provide services, host meetings. And then we also have a great start to this resource center that started back in January. Here's a quick breakdown of what we've been able to do since opening in January. And when we first launched this, we really didn't know who we were going to serve, or what was going to be in the highest demand. And it's really the entire community has come by, folks just to check it out, and other folks to utilize services. We have everyone from students to seniors stop by to utilize services. We've had and this was from a few days ago, so we're getting close to hitting the 400 mark on visits to the resource center. And this is just a partial list of the services that are offered. So we're continuing our Pathway to Payday program. One's coming up here very soon. it's a 4-day job workshop series. We work really closely with Betty Quan Chin and the County of Humboldt's Department of Health and Human Services. It's a 4-day job workshop series. And it's coming up soon. So it's the week of May 5th. There's still availability, both as a participant and then also if you're a local business that is currently hiring or will be hiring during the week of May 5th. Please reach out and contact us, and we'd love to set you up and really give you an opportunity to interview some great candidates. Our co-pilot program is continuing and running strong. It's a volunteer program, and we really do appreciate the folks that we have some co-pilots that are still from our original cohort of co-pilots, and they're just volunteers that we recruit, train, and vet, and they are assigned one or connected with one community member and act as kind of a helping hand. And having this resource center is huge for this program. Our Old Town Stewards is up and running. We're up to 20 volunteer stewards right now. It's doing some amazing things throughout our downtown and Old Town areas. Historic walking tours, just being that presence. We will be down and present at the Eureka Summer Concerts, and then also the Friday Night Markets coming up here soon. And really, our outreach team, they do quite a bit. I could do another presentation just on these outreach workers. We've expanded our team. It's Larry and Robert. They're not the only ones out there doing that, but they really do everything and anything it takes. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, and these guys just go above and beyond. And really, they're providing services that really no other organization is providing right now or can provide right now. They're out. They know the folks that are out there, and so they're making and helping folks keep medical appointments. Robert alone has helped over 125 people get connected to permanent supportive housing through our community, and that's picking folks up, helping them fill out applications, providing transportation, gathering documents, being there, that support network, that support team. And that's in addition to the over 200 folks that we've housed through our rapid rehousing program at Uplift Eureka in the city of Eureka. And it's just every day I go down and check out what these guys are doing, and it's just there's really no limit to what they're able and willing to do to help folks that are out there. Definitely going above and beyond, and it's just they're just doing so much for the city and for our vulnerable community members. We have our rapid rehousing program is live. We have, I believe there's 18 households that we're currently serving, and there's dozens and dozens of more households that have gone through our program that we keep in touch with and that are there. And housing, housing some household is tough. To search and secure that housing is challenging, but then also almost as equally challenging is to provide those supportive and stabilization services. And so this is something that our city does, and it's pretty remarkable what we're able to do. And so for more information, please go to our website and check this out. Give our housing coordinator a call. And recently we've launched our homelessness prevention program. We had a kind of a smaller pilot program back last year in November and December. We were able to prevent 16 households from that were at imminent risk of experiencing homelessness. We prevented them from experiencing homelessness. All 16 households are still housed. And we've just launched, beginning of this month, our the next round of it. There's more funding, and so funding is available now. If there's anyone out there that is at imminent risk of experiencing homelessness, please reach out to us. We're here to help. And similar to the rapid rehousing program, it's not just cutting a check and providing that rental assistance. It's providing that supportive services and ensuring that folks remain housed and are stable in their housing. I'm here. I've intentionally made this very brief. I know I think I provided an overview not that long ago, and not a whole lot has changed except for our expanding efforts with our outreach team, our resource center, and then just every day we're just working towards better outcomes and better goals. And I just want to thank the city leadership, our elected officials, and our city leadership for supporting these programs, and then the entire city staff that is here. Our CSET team and our care team, we work extremely closely with those guys out there on the streets, on the front lines, and we just have a very special thing. Not a lot of cities, almost no cities are out there doing what we're doing, and I just really am proud of what we're able to accomplish, and thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Jeff. And with that, we are going to call for a short break, 10 minutes. So if council will join me, that would be great. We'll see you in 10. Everybody, we are going to now reopen this meeting of the Eureka City Council this day, April 15th. And we just had a wonderful presentation from Jeff. I was going to look for his title, but I don't have it in front of me in the moment. We love Jeff. Okay, so we are going to now, were there any questions? Councilmember Moulton.
So I can make comment, right? Thank you very much. And thank you for that presentation. I know we heard a lot recently, and here is yet more. I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you're doing. I mean, CAPE and CARE and CSET and Uplift and Pathway to Payday, and all these are parts of each other things and all the interdependencies. The challenge of folks not having the resources that they need, ending up living on the streets or ending up underhoused, is incredibly complex. And of course, our attempts at solutions are also going to be incredibly complex, which is all to say, I'm glad that you're putting some effort into communicating about that. Effective communication like this needs to be very concise and very targeted. And when we're talking about several very complex things, all interconnect, having one sort of directory for everything is valuable, but also these sort of separate legs, like who are you talking to and how are you going to reach them? And of course, the best way to reach people is with Larry, right? It's with the individuals out there, face to face, talking to people, really finding out what they need and helping them connect with the resources that are there for them. So I encourage folks to reach out. And I'm glad that you're working on that messaging work, because that's going to be really important to get people, because our outreach workers are only have so many feet and so many hours in the day. Thank you.
And so, our outreach workers are down at St. Vincent de Paul Free Meal Monday through Friday they're down there from 9 a.m. until about 1 or 2. And then we also have a mobile outreach vehicle. So it's like a mobile office. It's a resource center on wheels. And so we're able to utilize that and go around the community and set up shop and provide those services where folks are.
And then, like any service, business, anything like that, word of mouth is going to carry a long way. When one family gets help, they're going to tell other folks that need help. So.
Thank you. Councilmember Bauer?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo my colleague and say thank you. And thank you to Larry and Robert and everybody that works on these issues. They're complicated. And you guys really care. And I hope people that attended our camping ordinance meeting are listening, because this is what we do, right? And you guys do it from the heart. This is work that you love, and it's so meaningful. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate you all. And I hope the community understands, that, you're doing so much, and it's just so valuable to all of us that they should really see you on the streets and give you a hug, say thank you. So thanks, man.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Councilmember Castellano?
Sure. I'll just reiterate the thank you. I've referred a couple of youth just in the last few weeks to your programming, and so thank you. It really does provide a needed space and also place for connecting to other services. And I'm really proud of the work that the city's doing, but the people yourself and who are making sure that we are there for folks in Eureka. And I think that, thank you for this brochure. I think it really will be a valuable tool to help just keep conveying those efforts, because it's hard if people don't, come to every city council meeting. They don't necessarily know all the things that are happening. So thank you for pulling this together too.
Councilmember Contreras-Deloche.
I know you're getting lots of gratitude from all of us, but I want to reiterate that as well too. And there's somebody that just recently moved into my neighborhood that Uplift had helped, and I got to talk with them, and they're a significantly contributing member of the community, but they're just hanging on and not in a position where they could take care of some of the stuff themselves and just needed some help. And so I love the Uplift, but I mean, it really is, it's a hand up, people, I've always kind of like bristled at the hand out versus hand up thing, but I think there is something to be said for so much of what you guys are trying to do is really just help people improve their lives and help them. Things are very difficult right now, and when people are kind of on the edge of anything, and so I appreciate all that work of everybody that's involved in that, and all the different ways that everybody is, our pathway to pay day, good grief, which I usually get to participate in, and I just it's really amazing. It's really impressive. I don't think I've lived anywhere where a city is doing so many different things to try to really meet the needs of their community members, and I just think it's really remarkable. And thank you and everybody else too that's involved in that. And I know you guys really are driven by a lot of compassion, because we know it isn't by massive paychecks. So thank you.
And finally, I'd like to say, and huge gratitude, but I would like to share something. So this last weekend, Saturday, I went down to 2nd and A, and I was talking to folks down there, and I was so grateful to hear that there were 2 people that I have known for 10 years that lived in Devil's Playground, who at that time were absolutely unwilling to be supported or take any services or get any help at all, are now going to be moving in down at Hickshari, down at Betty's new place down there. And what a gift. And the reason that happened isn't because they just changed their mind and trusted people. The reason that happened is because of the vigilance of our staff and the people that go out there every day and make those connections and allow allow my friends to feel and to know that they have value and that they are important, and that regardless of the decisions that they're making at the time, we're available for them when they're willing. And it warms my heart to know that these 2, one of them, I used to call her the icon of Devil's Playground. Everybody looked up to her. She took care of all the women, just a really wonderful, wonderful woman. And I'm so grateful and thankful to see that we have these programs where people actually she's afraid, which I get that, but we're able to make a difference in people's lives, one person at a time, and I know sometimes the public gets all, upset because we don't help 30 people, today. And the thing is that we can't help 30 people. Well, we might be able to, but it's those connections. It's those making those opportunities for people to feel valued and connected to that really make those positive impacts. And you guys do that on the daily. All of this work that's happening is just such a gift to our community. And I'm really appreciative, as you know. So thank you so much. Anything further? Okay, thank you so much. And our next report and action item is Humboldt Waste Management Authority report with HWA General Manager Keller Heckman.
Mayor Burgell,
I think we need to take public comment on that last
Oh,
item.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Pardon me. So was there anybody here for public comment on the item of our city programming or uplift? Okay, seeing no one, we'll bring it back to report and action items with Humboldt Waste Management Authority report, HWA General Manager Keller Heckman.
Thank you, Council. So as you mentioned, my name is Eric Keller Heckman. I'm the Executive Director for Humboldt Waste Management Authority, and I'm here tonight before you at the request of your staff and Councilmember Castellano to give you a little bit of an overview of the authority and a little bit of update on what we've been up to for the last year. There we go. I'll just do that. That's fine. So what is Humboldt Waste Management Authority? We are what you would call a joint powers authority. We're made up of jurisdictions and they empower us to manage solid waste in this instance. While we're made up of jurisdictions, we are our own distinct entity that has a governing body and a board. Each one of our member agencies has an elected official that sits at that board and makes decisions on our guidance and our futures. Our current membership contains the cities of Arcata, Blue Lake, Eureka, Ferndale, Rio Dell, and the county of Humboldt. So what is it that HWMA does? At the core, we are tasked with two main directives: to manage solid waste and the continued monitoring of the Cummings Road landfill. But as the waste stream has evolved, so too has the HWMA, and over time, we have been tasked with additional diversion programs, funding county-wide programs, and helping jurisdictions plan for the future legislation and requirements relating to waste. But it should be clarified that we do not collect this material or any material from your residents. What we do is ensure that it has a place to go, it's properly managed, and disposed of in a cost-effective way. HWMA has several operational divisions with focus on particular waste streams. We no longer simply accept waste in one door, load it, and send it out the other. Legislation and environmental drivers have significantly impacted how Californians manage waste. And as those changes have been realized through our systems, we have created divisions that specialize in managing it. Our solid waste division is our largest operational division and handles the lion's share of solid waste tonnage generated within the county. This includes all solid waste generated by Eureka's residents and businesses. For the upcoming fiscal year, HWMA projects up to 75,000 tons of solid waste generated from member agencies. Within the solid waste division, we also accept and transfer residential and commercial green waste, single stream recycling, and implement a majority of the diversion programs that have been developed over the years, such as carpet recycling and mattress take-back. Our household hazardous waste facility is the only one like it in the county, and staff handles upwards of 400,000 gallons of waste annually. This material goes all the way from paint, pesticides, things under your cupboard, cleaning, all the way to business-generated waste. Residents can come to our facility Monday through Saturday. Businesses can come Monday through Friday by appointment. The HWMA currently owns and maintains and operates the Cumming Road landfill. This landfill accepted the majority of the North Coast waste for nearly 70 years and was acquired by the HWMA in 2000. Incidental material was received after that time, and the final closure came in 2017. With the final post-closure finalized and approved by the state, the 30 years of post-closure maintenance and monitoring has now been underway. Our programs division is responsible for the development and initial implementation of the majority of our diversion programs. These range from obviously carpet and mattress recycling, batteries and light bulb take-back programs, sharps consolidation points around the county, and was the main driver in the medication drop boxes that used to be around this county as well. Program staff track upcoming legislation that will have an impact on either the authority or its members and develop pathways and strategies to implement new programs. Once those are developed, they work in concert with our other operations divisions to hand off these programs and fold them into our regular daily operations. So with all that said, how exactly do we fund all these operations? Well, outside of grant activities, the authority is fully funded by the fees it collects on its member agency's solid waste that's generated within its bounds. We call these the waste management fees. The solid waste portion of the waste management fee is made up of three main components, with programs and targeted divisions nestled inside them. The countywide program fee, which houses pass-throughs and other county-related programs, such as 939 funds, LEA fees, and the Illegal Dumping and Cleanup Fund. The majority of these fees are set by the County of Humboldt or state regulatory agencies. Next, we have the HWMA base fee, which is responsible for funding all other programs or divisions at the authority outside of the solid waste division. This includes our programs division, administration staff, environmental health, and our long-term funding goals. And finally, we have the facility fee, which houses the cost for transportation and disposal of solid waste, the direct operational cost of handling that waste, indirect expenses, and the necessary reserve funding requirements. So this slide should give you a better glimpse at how these fees are structured and how they fit into the total fee structure, and how they generally contribute to costs throughout the county. As you can see, countywide fees are charged on all tons generated within member agency boundaries. These programs are generally run or operated by the County of Humboldt, or in the case of the Cummings Road Landfill Maintenance and the Household Hazardous Waste Facility, operated by HWMA on behalf of the County of Humboldt. The HWMA base fees are charged to all tons delivered by member agencies to transfer stations that lie within Humboldt County. As noted on the previous slide, these fees cover the divisions we went over earlier this evening outside of the solid waste division. And finally, we have the solid waste facility fees. One area of note for our satellite facilities in McKinleyville and Fortuna, only the transportation and disposal costs are present. The missing fees are charged and set by the individual operators of those transfer stations. This should hopefully shed a little bit more light on the complexity that some of these fees have and how they're structured and ultimately charged. So overall, the authority's budget is fairly straightforward with a couple of factors that have large impacts on our rates. Total solid waste tonnage is the baseline for developing these fees. Because the authority is funded through our tipping fees, total tonnage can have a significant impact on our per ton costs across the board. This is where economies of scale come into play, and with more tonnage, it allows us to spread the operational costs over those additional tons, reducing those per ton rates for all of our member agencies. Keep in mind, this is one of the original driving factors of why the HWMA was formed. Our largest single cost is the transportation and disposal of solid waste, and this represents 46% of our total operating budget annually. Fuel prices, highway closures, and backhaul availabilities can have significant impacts on these costs. Staff costs are all obviously a factor as well, the authority having 35 full-time staff members. And as programs come online or other operations are developed, this can lead to an increase in these costs. Finally, funding diversion programs are a major portion of our costs as well. This includes the Cummings Road Landfill Management, Household Hazardous Waste Disposals, upcoming organics waste handling and management, and other smaller programs related to diversion activities. So what does this mean for the city of Eureka, and how does it impact your rates? For residents and businesses that self-haul or deliver their material directly to our facility, that's a pretty simple answer. We pass a fee, and they pay that fee at the gate when they drop off their material, whether that is the minimum fee if they come under the required tonnage, or if it's a prorated fee based off the per ton costs. For people that subscribe to curbside services, that answer is a bit more complex. Consider HWMA's fee as a baseline for developing your total collection rate. The HWMA develops this rate not just for the city of Eureka, but all of our member agencies, regardless of the source of the collection. This rate is fixed and does not change based on the source or the material or the size of the container, but it is a significant cost related to the rates charged to your residents. Once this fee is finalized, it is provided to your franchise hauler to begin developing your franchise collection rates and is then combined by them with their operational costs to develop your final franchise rate structure. Outside of any impacts that may have, City of Eureka staff is much more versed in the direct impacts to residents, and I'd be more than happy to touch on the direct impact to overall tonnage costs as well. So additionally, your staff has asked for a brief update on organics, which has obviously been a hot topic over the last year. For a bit of background, the authority and the jurisdictions have been working on a two-pronged approach to compliance for organics collection and processing. In the short term, the plan is to have collection services roll out throughout jurisdictions, starting with the cities of Eureka, Arcata, and the greater Humboldt Bay area. HWMA will serve as the transportation and processing facility. So material that is collected at the curb will come to the Hawthorne Street transfer station. It will be processed, food waste and green waste, which will be called organics at that time. And then it will be shipped out of county to a compost facility. This compost facility has already been awarded through an RFP process that the HWMA went through last year. That facility is Coal Creek Compost in Mendocino. That is the short-term plan to make sure that jurisdictions such as yourself come online with compliance as soon as possible. In concert with those efforts, the long-term planning is a feasibility study that the HWMA has put out an RFP for to take a look at the potential costs and impacts related to placing an organics compost or collection facility in Humboldt County. So currently there are no facilities that can accept food waste within Humboldt County. That is something that we are looking to solve in concert with the jurisdictions. We should have an update, hopefully, by July of this year on the successful proposer for that RFP. And we are hopeful that we will have a path forward in 6 months based off that, and then potential implementation as early as 12 months from that. So you're looking at around July of 2026. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, either about HWMA as a whole, about organics, about collection services.
Anyone have any questions? Councilmember Bauer?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. How long, and I understand, state law requires us to compost, and I think that's great. But how long are we thinking about sites for a local facility? What 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, so a couple things. One of the biggest linchpins is going to be collection. So your staff is currently working with their franchise hauler to negotiate contracts that are going to not only extend the current contracts, but potentially expand your collection for organics, which would include food waste. So that's the biggest step forward right now. I know staff is currently working with that, and they're going to be bringing something forward at a later date about an update on those negotiations. But that's kind of the first step towards ensuring we have the tonnage and the collection required to start doing these operations. As far as a facility permitted in county, we're hopeful that the feasibility study will be done within 12 months of July 1, 2025, so July 1, 2026. It could take 3 to 5 years to permit a facility that accepts food waste. So because food waste is a tier 1, you have to have a full solid waste facility permit in order to accept it. That's not a very easy permit to get. It's not a very easy permit to have permitted and approved. Obviously, the HWMA holds that permit, so we do have a little bit of experience in managing the processing reports and things like that. But best case scenario, 3 years, worst case scenario, 5 years from the time that we actually have a site, purchase that site, and go from there.
And I can't resist, because legislative items had come up on this. It's been a bone of contention with staff for a very long time how AB 1383 was implemented. There are so many things that we are forced to do as a rural area where we don't have facilities like this that are actually contributing more to greenhouse gases than they would if we were just to landfill it. The process that we're going to be going through that 3 and 5 years, it could be argued that the trucks that are necessary to transport this stuff out of the area are probably more impactful to climate change than just landfilling it and taking it in one location. Furthermore, there was a requirement that we sell a certain amount of compost, seeing as though we don't have compost. We're actually trucking in compost from out of the area to make it available to our community for free. We had these discussions with CalRecycle when we were in the middle of our implementation of this program, and it fell on deaf ears. It really is counterintuitive, and these blanket mandates from CalRecycle are problematic.
Thank you.
Councilmember Moulton.
Thank you so much for the presentation. The information about the structure was new to me. That's very helpful. When you mentioned the facility and the Tier 1 facility, it made me think about our sewage treatment plant and the solid waste that comes out of that we then ship out of the area. Do you know if that sort of facility would be able to handle that kind of waste? Or maybe it's Director Allen, you back there? She says yes, no, she doesn't know. Or you just,
so yeah,
but if we had an organics processing facility in it's complicated. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember,
So I think
it would have to.
are you asking?
I'm just gonna.
Excuse me, just
synopsize
one
that
moment.
answer.
So, would you be willing to come say that on the microphone because the public can't hear you from back there? No, you're
I was
good.
going to
Thank
repeat
you.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
Repeat it all. No, currently we are not capable of doing it. We would have to design a whole addition to be able to process organic compost. Yes. We've looked at it. There's been studies in the past. I don't have details on those, but we currently.
I think my question got flipped around.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we had a facility that could handle the compost, could it handle?
Yes.
Yes.
Our
It could.
biosolids,
Our
Class B
biosolids.
biosolids.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would have every intention, if we do open a facility, that it would be permitted and be able to take that type of material. Absolutely.
Okay. Bonus. Thank you. Okay.
thank you. Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll open this item up for public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this item? Do you see anybody on Zoom? Oh, we've got one. Good, great. Welcome.
Hello, good evening. Frank Nelson, General Manager for Ecology. I'm just here to support Eric. You know, I think that
Oh, please turn the microphone on.
Frank Nelson, General Manager for Ecology. I'm just here to support Eric. I think that it's been a huge endeavor. You know, I can't say enough to the SB 1383 regulation, and you know, I haven't been in Humboldt County as long as most of you have, but you can tell it's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole for folks in rural areas, and it's really expensive. It's really time consuming. It's really all inclusive. You know, it takes a lot of consulting effort and a lot of heartache and late nights from folks like Eric, and so. You know, we're doing our part, and hopefully in the near future we can find the best outcome for Humboldt County. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't see anyone on Zoom. Okay, so we'll bring it back to council to vote to receive a report. Councilmember Castellano?
I thank you, Director Keller-Heckman, for coming here. You know, as you're aware, I'm our council representative for your board, and I just think it's really valuable to have the opportunity for all of us sometimes to hear what the other JPAs and things are doing, because really I'm representing all of council on that board and Eureka. You know, I'm fairly clued in because I've been on the board for a while, but I just want to appreciate your leadership at HWMA, you know, and something that council isn't aware of is, you know, Director Keller-Heckman brings many 20, 25, 17, many, nearly 20 years of experience, and is highly respected by all of the staff there at HWMA, who really look toward his leadership, and it's just been a privilege to see him in his position. Do we need to move to receive the report? Okay.
No, we'll just receive the report.
Great.
Thank you. Having a day, aren't I? Yeah, that was excellent. Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to future agenda items. Does anybody have Councilmember Bauer?
Yeah, I've got a little bit to say about this next proposal for a future agenda item, so bear with me. I want to start with, I've had many a restless nights thinking about what transpired a couple of meetings ago, and I can't let it go. The presentation staff gave on the proposed camping ordinance were both thoughtful and professional. I want to apologize for not interrupting some of the commenters that treated Chief Stevens, Jeff Davis, Jacob Rosen, and all our staff with such tremendous disrespect. Although not part of typical council decorum, I believe it is my duty and this council's to defend our staff from such unwarranted treatment. Frankly, I thought our community was better than that. I sincerely apologize to all staff involved in this meeting and that dedicated so much time to crafting this ordinance. You simply followed a council request to develop this law and present it to us, and you should not have been treated so poorly. I've since had many community members reach out after the meeting to tell me they had intended to speak in support of the ordinance, but just couldn't stay and sit through the hours of acrimonious testimony. Instead, many wrote impassioned emails to many of us here on the council, I believe, expressing their dismay by our lack of action. The vast majority believe staff presented compelling arguments for why such an ordinance was necessary. And it isn't just the email traffic I've received that led me to question our council choice to kick the can once again down a long and apparently endless road. It's the folks I've since run into on our wonderful trail network. It's longtime friends I've seen out on the town. It's business owners I know and respect stopping me while crossing the street. They have all expressed dismay that we did not take some sort of action to help those unwilling and or unable to help themselves. From what I can discern, we on this council succumb to those that have a complete lack of trust in our public servants, especially in our police force. I must say, it's not hard for one to understand. We've seen way too many questionable use of force in the media over the past 20 years, and people have the right to be skeptical that the laws we pass will be used as a tool and not a bludgeon. Yet we are a nation of laws that allow for a functional society whereby all citizens feel safe and secure, perceived or otherwise, in their homes and community commons. At some point, we have to trust those that wear the badge and have dedicated their lives to protecting us. I, for one, believe EPD is a wholly necessary part of the social fabric of our city, and sleep better knowing our women and men in blue are out there doing their best to care for and protect our citizens. What I do find completely baffling is the lack of trust expressed during public comment in our staff that had dedicated heart and soul to working with our homeless population. This council has been nothing but supportive of CSET, Uplift, CARE, and a myriad of programs that have the sole mission of getting community members off the streets. Yet again, we did not speak up for staff in these programs when they were scoffed at, hissed at, and treated with disdain of the likes and magnitude we've never seen in a council meeting. It seems clear to me that those discourteous people must not live and or work in this city. Otherwise, they would know the great lengths Eureka has gone to support our community members experiencing homelessness. They might also know the staff in these programs are some of the finest, compassionate people in our community who have dedicated their lives to one mission, helping those that have fallen through the cracks of society. I believe Eureka and its public servants are doing more for its homeless population than most, if not all, cities in this great state. In fact, the Uplift program was recognized by the League of California Cities as a model for other cities to emulate. So that brings me to my proposed future action item. I am no longer willing to wait for some time or date uncertain to take some sort of action on the proposed ordinance. Remember, the proposed camping ordinance and corresponding legal repercussions for disobeying the law is merely a tool at our disposal. A tool that our own mental health clinician that, mind you, we brought onto the city to help us navigate the mental health crisis we all know is very real within our borders, believes can be used to help those that do not have the faculties to help themselves. It is a disservice to these citizens and all our community members to not at least bring this ordinance back and vote on it. I think if we do not take action, we are sentencing our most vulnerable to a life in the willows, wetlands, and green spaces of our community. Do we really think this is in the best interest of our city and all of its citizens? So with that, I propose you bring the camping ordinance back on May 13th for potential modifications if necessary and a vote.
So, can we get a consensus? Sure.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Bauer, for bringing that forward. When I moved to table the item, it was 1:30 in the morning and the emotions were running really high, and I thought it would be more useful for us to have the delicate and nuanced conversation with a fresh head at the next meeting, and that conversation continued past that. But at this point, I would say that the ordinance is either useful and we should pass it or modify it, adjust it, and pass it, or we should take an entirely different path. But having this kind of hanging out there indefinitely, I agree, is not helping anything. So I'm thumbs up that.
Okay, so do we have a consensus to bring this back May 13th? So we have a tie. So I will break that tie.
I would suggest that you make a motion so we can take a vote on bringing this back, not just through consensus, because if we have a tie-breaking vote, we want to, as the mayor, and that only happens if there's a tie, that we recorded.
I do have some concerns about taking action on a non-agendized item of this magnitude. I don't think that a motion on a non-agendized item is advisable.
So would you, it's whether the future agenda item is an action item, would the city attorney recommend then that it just goes as a tie, or can the mayor give a thumb up or thumb down, regardless of whether it's a motion or not?
I don't know. I don't think that do the rules speak to this? Yeah. And the mayor can break the tie? Oh, well then, absolutely. Go ahead, Mayor.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment first.
Go ahead.
Because I think I know what direction this is going. But I want to just briefly explain why I'm a thumbs down on that. Because when we had this in front of all of us and we discussed it that night and we came up, there was a discussion, we came up with something. And I believe, if I remember right, we had 4 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down, Councilmember Bauer, the dissent on that. And so we came up with a direction on that. And I appreciate your words. It was, I think a lot of us share that opinion, certainly on the treatment of our staff, and how disheartening that was. That having been said, I guess you guys would know, our city attorney and our city clerk would have a better idea than I would about addressing something at such length that wasn't agendized for tonight, and then also changing that with a member overturning something that we previously made a decision on.
Councilmember Bauer, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I mean, my future agenda item is to bring the camping ordinance back. My speech was just to express my feelings as to what transpired. So if you want, I can retract the speech and just say I bring the ordinance back by May 13th.
Councilmember Castellano?
Thank you, and I appreciate hearing you, and I want to appreciate that. I think we abbreviated our time to discuss to participate in discourse that night due to the late hour, and so I understand that there are still things unsaid. For two reasons, I am dissenting on the matter. One, for my job, that's my monthly board meeting, and so it creates some problems there. And then two, I think that people's distrust of government is really high right now, and I feel like it would be very disingenuous to the community to bring this back so soon after a very lengthy meeting in which also many members of the public were here until a very late hour. I feel like that would, it was late and perhaps things could have been more clear at that time. I do feel like we set upon some things that we told the community we're going to be working on, and I would feel like people were kind of going back and forth on, and I do understand the frustration about how staff was treated, and and like I said, I do think distrust of government in general is, from my experience, at all-time highs. And, I don't think that trust is going to be built by bringing it back so soon.
So is it up to me?
Yep.
Wow. So I have been thinking about this a good bit since our last meeting. And I've thought about all of the work that our city has put into this effort over the last 10 years that I've been involved in the city. And I've watched staff go from slashing tents, stealing people's property, talking smack about people, all those things. I've watched that change over the last 10 years, and I've watched our department change over the last 10 years, and I've watched our city grow in compassion over the last 10 years. I was very disappointed about the meeting and received a lot of emails about people not feeling safe speaking in the meeting, which was disappointing. I talked to a lot of people on the street. I had people call me on the phone, very upset that this wasn't voted on, that the time was uncertain. The idea that the time would be certain that we would vote on that was fine, but the time that it was just put off to some number far, far away with no time to put it together didn't bode well with a lot of the people that I know in the city and that I talk to, business owners, people that live in this experience every day. They show up for work. And have these situations. And the thing that really struck me about this ordinance is that this ordinance was not designed, at least from my understanding, this ordinance was not designed to take grandma out of the bus stop. Huh? Oh, okay. But what this ordinance, in my understanding, if I could just say one thing that's maybe not content driven, but is that it's another tool to get at people who have been unwilling over the years and that predate on people. There's a whole situation out there that a lot of people don't experience because you don't know, because you're not out there. And I don't mean that to be dismissive in any way. And I don't say that to council. I know council are out there a lot. So I think that time uncertain is unfortunate and doesn't work for a lot of our city. At least the people that I have talked to. So I would like to see it brought back at the May 16th meeting, and I would like to see some resolution with it. And if it fails, it fails. But I think that the discussion and the opportunity to have that conversation needs to happen sooner than later. So that's my vote. Is that clear?
So by consensus, we'll bring this item back on May 13th or 16th?
Whatever the day the meeting is.
16th is the day of the meeting, so.
May 16th.
Okay, thank you.
The regular council meeting.
It would either be May 6th or May 20th.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
So there was a mention of the 13th.
Sorry, I meant the 20th.
The
Okay.
20th. Okay.
Second meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other future agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to city manager reports. City Manager Slattery.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple of quick reports to make. First of all, cruise ships were brought up at the beginning of the meeting, and I want to announce that on the 27th, a German cruise ship will be coming into dock at the Schneider Dock at 8 a.m. It's a Sunday. There'll be 500 passengers, and we will be having a reception and having folks down there to greet the people coming off the cruise ship. Second of all, I want to give it a report on the Old Town officer. It's been almost 3 years because of staffing levels that we haven't been able to occupy that position. It's been vacant for the past 3 years, and I just want to announce that at the beginning of this year, we were fortunate enough to be able to fill that. Officer Tagaropoulos, or Officer Tag, as he's more familiar with, is our new Old Town officer, and I just wanted to give a little background. He began his career with the Eureka Police Department in 2019. We didn't really have an expectation of holding on to him for very long because his significant other was working at the Coast Guard. Luckily, them and their family really enjoy this community and decided to stay in this community. So for the past 5 years, he's worked as both a patrol officer and a field training officer, and has earned the respect of the community as well as his fellow staff members. TAG will be focusing on building relationships with the Old Town business owners. The Main Street group are very happy to have TAG back, and we're very happy as well. Along those same lines, we were also able to hire another park ranger, which is Officer Baird, and so staffing levels are good, and it's great to have our Old Town officer back, especially with Thursday night markets and Friday night markets coming up here pretty soon. So welcome, Officer Tag.
Thank you.
City Manager, could you mention visioning and selecting dates?
Yes, so we've had a lot of difficulty. Sorry, I forgot about that. We've had a lot of difficulty coordinating, getting dates for strategic visioning. So likely tomorrow, Assistant City Manager Powell will maybe add a couple of dates. If there's any way that people could look at their schedules and when they're doing the doodle poll, try and concentrate on the ones that have been already voted on, because I'm pretty sure that each and every one of you want to be involved in that strategic visioning. So if somebody has already done the poll, please concentrate on that date that that person chose so that you can try and coordinate that. Right now, we've done it 2 different ways. The most recent way with the doodle poll, there's not a single date out of the 14 that everybody is in agreement with. So we pushed that all the way out to the end of July. So we're trying to do this as quick as possible. From a staff level, we had the same difficulty, but we definitely can fill those roles and do pre-planning in order to have those roles filled. I think it's most important that we have all of the council members there. So we'll do that again. Do you have anything else to say?
I will send out a new link tomorrow. So you'll be getting a whole new link and email. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for City Manager Slattery? Okay, seeing no one, that moves us to council reports, and we will go ahead and start with Councilmember Contreras-Deloche.
You know, typically I make a list of all the things that I've done over the last couple of weeks, and of course I haven't done that. So I'm trying to remember what I've done besides meeting with a lot of people. I'm looking right now. My apologies. Do you want me to go at the end?
We can come back to you.
Yeah, would you
that
come
be
back to
helpful?
me? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Fine. Councilmember Bauer.
Yeah, mine will be short. I attended spring break. My last child, who will be leaving for Sweden in August, so I was out of town quite a bit, and I had a couple of meetings canceled. But I did attend the Cal City's Governance Committee, which is another committee I've been elected to, just to discuss the overall structure and policies of Cal Cities, League of California Cities, and happy to participate in that. Other than that, pretty uneventful. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Moulton?
Hi, thank you. I don't have any travel to report. I've gone to a couple of Coffee on Main Street, Eureka Main Street gatherings with folks there. It's great to do some networking. I met with representatives from Hatcher to talk about the city's relationship with folks battling addiction. And our JPA Humboldt Bay Fire meetings have been on pause briefly, but we'll be back at it next month.
Thank you. Councilmember Castellano?
Thank you. I attended the HWMA board meeting, the Humboldt Transit Authority meeting. I attended a port infrastructure meeting that was focused on elected officials who are supportive of environmental measures and policies. And kind of adjacent to my work on council, I'm part of the Live Well Humboldt working group, and I attended the Live Well Humboldt meeting. And I just want to let folks know it's a really great resource on the, so Live Well Humboldt is a project of the county where they identify the most critical health challenges related to folks who reside in this community. And they have a dashboard. It's livewellhumboldt.org. And it's a very useful tool for finding out things related to, or data related to suicide prevention, substance use disorder, housing instability and homelessness, healthy beginnings and ACEs. Through the Community Health Improvement Plan, the CHIP, they identify the most critical health outcomes for the community, and then kind of use data to help track those and create policies and programs that address them. So it's a really good way of just finding out where we are, and there's some really challenging data, some also really good data there, but just things like youth suicide is unusually high in Humboldt County, just things like that. So it's just good to be aware of in terms of what we think about as we implement programs for the city.
Thank you. Councilmember Contreras-Deloche?
Okay. So I have a couple of things that I've done, and then coming up, I'd had another meeting with some of the people that are organizing Dockside Market, and then also with, Chris Mickelson over at the Harbor. I attended a week of the Young Child activity. Upcoming this week, they have a dinner that's upcoming to honor at the Eureka Women's Club for honoring those who've made significant impacts in children's lives here locally. I have a meeting tomorrow at dinner with California State Rep Chris Rogers and a couple of people that I helped organize. I also worked with Maine State Representative Benjamin Collins to help set up the EOPA event that just offshore wind event that we just did like a week ago. Let's see, I think that's everything I got going on right now and what I've done.
Great, thank you. So I have decided to do my mayor updates at the end of the meeting with the council members until we can get to a time when we can move all of our reports together, because I think it's important that we share at the same time. We're all the same. So I just have a few things I want to talk about. The first thing is, put on your calendar, May 4th, Sunday, we are having our mental health town hall. It's called Turn Awareness into Action, Myth-Busting Mental Health. It's at the Wharfinger from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We will have a lived experience panel. We will have a professional panel. We will have a speaker coming from Detroit, Joseph Reed, who wrote Broken People. And there'll be pizza. So we would love to see you all there. Come out and and learn a thing. You know, the thing is, we're afraid of what we don't understand, and here's an opportunity to learn more if you'd like. And then I wanted to tell of another event happening on April 26th, Perching on the Peninsula. So that's an event happening. All the proceeds go to the Samoa Volunteer Fire Department. It's a fishing contest for all of you that fish, and you can find that on social media. And then just a few things that I've been up to, because I haven't shared in a while. I was invited by the Red Cross to do the Sound the Alarm event, and we went around the south side of town and did free fire alarms installations, which was really neat. We met a lot of people. I learned a lot. I was really surprised by that. Well, not really surprised, but it was really interesting, the things I learned. I went to the Perilous Plunge. I don't think I talked about that last time. I think and so that's my 16th year, I think, for the Discovery Museum, which was wonderful. I went to the North Coast Rape Crisis Team Dancing in the Rain Gala. And I just really want to point out that the North Coast Rape Crisis Team is going to be really needing funding and support. It's a critical service to our community. And so I hope that people will consider donating or supporting them how you can. And then I met with different constituents, and then last Saturday I got to be at the North Coast Repertory Theater for a fundraiser on stage for their Blood on the Clockwork, and it was a lot of fun. Councilmember Stacey Atkins Salazar, I can't ever say her last name, was on stage with me, and then Juan Pablo was there as well. So it was a great time to be had by all, raising money for different local organizations in our community. Always grateful to be a part of this community. We have such a rich community. We're so wealthy in community building and just being good to each other, and I appreciate that about us. And with that, we're adjourned.